Hello my crafty friends, it's Andrea from Prairie Sky Paper Crafts. Today we are continuing the red and white theme for the week. Today I am using the Painted Poppies stamp set. I've had this one for a while and the only thing that I've really used are the splotches here. But today we're going to use the large poppy and this little row of poppies as well. So the red and white theme that we're using, I've got Poppy Parade, well suited for this one. I'll be using Memento Black. I might use the Garden Green for the leaves. I haven't quite decided what direction I'm going to go with for the card yet. And I'll be doing two cards today. One of them I've got, and I'll be cutting this down I think to 4 by 5 1/4. Right now it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I've got another sheet that is 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. All right, so we're going to get started with the large poppy. Now, in this stamp set, there's the large poppy, and then there's this watercolor looking background. So I'm going to stamp my poppy first, and then we're going to give it a watercolor look with this guy. So I'm just going to open up my Memento Black. And I think I'm going to go horizontally for this card. And I'm going to do 3. There's 1, 2, and I'm just twisting it or tilting it just, not quite right spacing. So I'm just going to flip it over. I'm just kind of twisting it a little bit so the flowers look slightly different each time. And the last one I kind of went up a little bit. So I'm going to take my poppy off, put my lid back on my Memento Black so nothing unfortunate happens. And then I'm just going to take the paper off of this one. I haven't used it before, so I'm just going to peel the backing paper off and then adhere it to my stamp set or to my stamp block as well. Okay, I'm going to ink it up. And because this is the first time I'm using this one, I'm just going to stamp it off just to make sure that it looks how I want it to look. Sometimes it doesn't give a great impression if it's your first go. So you can either give it a bit of a wash with soap and water, with your Stampin' Scrub, or even take just a white eraser and just kind of rub the surface with it to pick up any residue that might be left over from the process of the stamp creation. Okay, so now again, I'm just going to twist this slightly. So this isn't going to be perfect. It's just got that little bit of a watercolor quality to it. And I think I am going to do some leaves. So I'm just going to rub this off so that I don't get any ink all over the place. So I'm just going to set this guy back, and then I'm going to bring in the large leaf. Yeah, I think the large leaf for this one. And then I'm just going to do a few impressions of this. Okay, so I'm just peeling the paper off because I haven't used this one before. And I'm going to open up the Garden Green. Okay, now I don't really want the stem on here because I'm not masking it. So all I'm going to do is take my finger and rub off the ink that I've put on. Now, if you didn't want to use your finger, you could absolutely use a piece of paper towel or whatever you've got close. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this guy here. We've got a smudge. No worries, we will fix that. When you go to ink your pad or your stamp, just do a gentle tap, tap, tap. If you do it too hard, because these are foam pads, it'll give you a halo like this one just did. But it's all good because we can fix that. And then I'm just going to rub off the ink from the bottom one as well. And then I'm going to do this one. I think I'm going to do it between these two. and one more leaf, which I'll do right here. All right. So then, I'm gonna wipe off the ink from my fingers so I don't get green fingerprints everywhere. Okay, so now you can either leave it like it is, and I actually kind of like it the way it is. So I am just going to trim it up a little bit. Now you can see how this one goes right to the very edge and this one doesn't. So that's the one I'm going to trim. Take that, and then I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off this side as well. Okay, so now we're good to go to put it onto our Poppy Parade background. So I'm just going to grab our adhesive, and I usually just do adhesive on the long sides, 1 strip on each side. Oops, Bailey was laying on my desk, so there's a little bit of fur here. It's all good. Okay, and now I've got one of my very favorite embellishments lately are the matte black dots. So I'm going to grab these guys. Now, take your pick tool, which was right here 2 seconds ago. Not a big deal. I'm just going to take the smallest dots and I'm going to do, oops, missed that one with my finger. These ones are plenty big. You can just, oh, odd, the adhesive didn't come up with that one. It's really warm in my craft room right now. There we go. So if that ever does happen to you too, all you need to do is press it back down onto the adhesive dot and it'll stay stuck. And then third one, just like that. So now it looks like you've intentionally done a line of ink behind it. And then I'm just going to do a couple of black dots. It's kind of scattered throughout. 1, 2, and 1 there. Why not? All right, now let's see, what have I got close for sentiments? Let's see, I don't really, actually this one would be good. So Prized Peony. I think the poppy would be really pretty for a sympathy card. So I'm just going to use the So Sorry for Your Loss. Okay, and stamp off the leaf and put it back with my painted poppy set. And then I'm just going to do the sentiment in the black. And I'm just going to put it up here. So there we go. The first one done with the Painted Poppies stamp set and Poppy Parade ink and paper. So I'm just going to set this guy aside and then bring in our other piece, again, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and our smaller piece of basic white. And now I'm going to bring, whoops, this guy in. So this one has multiple poppy images. And I'm going to stamp it in Memento again. But because the stamp is shorter than my paper, I'm going to do kind of 1/2 and 1/2. So I'm going to take it slightly off the top of the paper and the bottom, and then I'm going to re-ink it again. Whoops. And then I'm going to line it up as best as I can and do the same. So slightly lower and slightly off to the side. So then you've got one image that goes from edge to edge. Oops. Now, if you just wanted to have a basic, like 2 colors, basically black, white, and red, you can absolutely leave it like that. But I'm going to bring in the smallest splotchy stamp, and I'm just going to do it in Poppy Parade. And I'm just going to add the color around. Okay, take the sentiment off. And I do find for the paint splatters, for those type of stamp sets, the smaller blocks are generally better because it generally gives you better control. So I'm just going to move my Poppy Parade cardstock out of the way for now. And then you can see with this one, it's just going to give you splotches. So I'm just going to go basically where the flowers are and kind of give it little hits of color. And I'm just turning my block to give it a little bit of interest and a little bit of dimension. And you can also, if you wanted to, just keep stamping the color off. And with each successive imprint, it's going to get lighter. So if you wanted a variegated look, it's really pretty for that too. And then you can also just do the very edge if you just wanted to get a little spot with some color. Or again, you can do the full stamp and get more color. Now, the only thing that you need to be careful of when you're doing this is to make sure that if you get any on your block, like I did, not to get your block edges too close to the paper, or you could end up with a smear. But again, as we discovered with the last card, a little bit of bling goes a long way in covering things up. All right, I think I'm fairly content with how this looks. Yeah, I think we're good with that. I'm just going to get the ink off, stamp it off on a paper towel. Whoops. You can also use your Stampin' Scrub. You can just run it under some water with some soap, and that'll take care of it as well. I always do my stamps at the end of the day when I'm finished. Everybody gets a run under the water, and then it's just good to go for the next time. All right. So now with this one, it's kind of more of a slightly modern look. I think I'm going to add the black matte dots to this one as well. Now, you can position it whichever way you want on your card. You can do it this way so that it has a nice little frame, or you can do edge to edge. If I was going to lay it this way, I would probably have put a little bit of maybe black, basic black, or basic gray behind it, just to give it a little bit more of a pop factor. Now, the sentiment. What sentiment am I going to use for this one? I'm going to do an encouragement one for this one, I think. You Can Do This is one that I've been using quite a bit lately. And then I'm just going to place it center, I think. And then I'm just going to do a black matte dot on either side of my sentiment. So there you go. 2 cards that used basically the same supplies. The only thing that was different was the sentiment, but it just goes to show how quick and easy the Poppy Parade stamp set is, and you can use it for birthdays, weddings. I've actually even just used the paint splatters in different colors for a really bright, fun, vibrant birthday card for kids. So if you don't have it and you would like it, you can shop with me, andreaestinson.stampinup.net. The link will be posted down below. And as always, I hope to see you over on my Facebook page, where I have even more inspiration for you on almost a daily basis. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe down below so you're notified every single time a brand new video comes up. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching.